Welcome to the City Advertising and Promotion Commission for January the 26th at 6 p.m. in the auditorium. Carol, will you please call the roll?
Autumn?
Here.
James?
Here.
Patrick?
Here.
Jeff?
Here.
Nick?
Here.
Carol? Here. We have a quorum.
Okay. We need to approve our minutes. Let me say that we have, Melissa and Harry were in this meeting, and some of you weren't. Just because you vote for these doesn't mean that you were present or that you're even agreeing with the content. It's just that you're approving these. So we have to approve these, and we are short the commissioners that were here. So we'll give you guys a minute to look over these, and then we'll discuss it. You found them, Autumn? Or?
I got them here, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
I know it gets to be a lot of paperwork. Okay, do we have a motion to?
Move to approve the minutes for January 4th.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, we'll do a roll vote. Carol? Autumn?
Are we doing a discussion
We
first?
can. Would you like to have some
Yes,
discussion? Okay.
Would you like me
Question?
to just go?
Yeah.
I do have a question with the quorum. It does state later on that there were motions to push this meeting back and vote on certain things due to not enough quorum. So I'm wondering why the budget was passed and everything else was passed in this meeting if you're not establishing quorum.
We had a quorum for this meeting. We did not have a quorum for November or December.
Okay.
Right?
And I think what she's asking about, if I may be so bold,
Yeah,
we were unable to elect officers because we didn't
I can't
have
vote as
quorum to
before.
do that.
Yeah.
And I believe the answer is that in order to elect officers, because they cannot vote for themselves, that was the reason that we
okay.
couldn't. We had a quorum to vote, but Jeff couldn't vote for himself, or I
Correct.
couldn't vote for myself,
Right.
whoever got nominated, which made it not a quorum.
Right.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Okay, Carol?
Yes.
Autumn?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Patrick?
Yes.
Okay, passes. Okay, let's look at the budget. Scott, do you have a presentation for us, please, sir?
Now, point of order.
Yeah.
Is this financials or the budget?
This is the approval of the financials. Let's correct that.
All right. I'll move to approve financials.
I second.
Okay, any discussion?
Well, we'd vote after he's presented them. Wait.
You want to let him give his presentation before we?
I guess we
Yeah.
vote to.
Either way.
Yeah.
He can still give his presentation after we vote. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I would prefer. I have a couple questions.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Let's do the presentation, and we'll
Yeah.
keep the motion, and we'll keep the second, and we'll vote as soon as you're done.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Commissioners, and welcome to 2022. We're here. And what I'd like to do is go ahead and recap our end of the year. I also created folders for you and placed the information that's on the screen behind you in your folder, along with other budgets and so on that we closed the year 2021 with. If you'll look at our cash balance reserve was 1.327 for the year, and also on that second, or actually the first part of the presentation, I took and compared December 2019, December 2020, and 21 across the board, showing you food and beverage, lodging, total collections. Kind of give you an idea how we compared over a 3-year period by month. And as you can see at the very bottom of December 2021, year-to-date collections was $1.8 million, which was an increase of $595,000 compared to 2020. Okay. These are interesting numbers, and if you look at the section 2, which says historical comparison December 2019 to December 2021, comparing those 2 years, give you an idea where we were during that particular time. At the very bottom of the page is a December actual revenue versus our budget, and you can see that we collected $1.8 million and our budget was 1.6, so that was a $235,000 increase over budget on the revenue side. There's a second page. I don't know if Ron's got it. Ron has it up or not, but there's a second page that I know is in your packet, and it shows the January through December of 2021, the actual for food and beverage, the actual for lodging collected, remitted to our CAPC, and it compares it to budget. And on the right, it will show you the increases over budget. Overall, we were at a 14.3% increase in revenue over what was budgeted for the year 2021. This is just an interesting summary I'll prepare to help you digest this information, and you can dig into the attachments that should be with your folder, and this helps explain the numbers clearly. Going on to Part B of my handout, there is a graph I presented in color that's in blue and red. The very top portion is for 2019, the second is for 2020, and the third part is for 2021. What we did is compared our collections by month for each year to show a trend in actually tourism dollars coming into town. And if you look at 2019, the very top one, you can see how the graphs start to merge in March and April and continue up into a decline in September. If you go to the second, which is the graph, which is for 2020, you can see clearly in May how the lodging and also the food and beverage took a nosedive starting probably March through May.
Part of that was the governor's mandate to close lodging during that time frame.
You can clearly see how it affected our revenue and our tourism, and how people tended to stay at home during that time, is what it's telling me. But if you come back and look at 2021, it's very interesting, because you can see we were in a continual growth pretty much from February all the way through August, taking a dive for a while, but we're back up. That is, in my opinion, a response to increase in tourism dollars spent here to attract visitors. It's clearly here in this graph. There's other reasons probably, but it's an indication to be used by anyone here locally that owns a business to see where our tourism starts to increase. And I think that's very interesting. I'll continue to monitor this and present this probably on a quarterly basis, because monthly is probably not going to show up as well as on quarterly. And I want to thank Libby for helping me with this. I want to recap 2021. There's 3 things I'd like you to understand. We did consolidate our offices, and we moved from up on, was that what, Van Buren? Van Buren, and moved here to the auditorium. And also, for you that like to know, we issued 37 CAPC business permits during 2021. And we installed a handicap lift station out in the auditorium, which was much needed. And
It's done, correct?
it is finished, yes.
Good.
I'm waiting for the invoice to make the final payment.
Great.
But as for the new commissioners, we've already paid 75% of the total amount due, so we're only looking at about $8,900 more and we'll have it paid off. So that'll be complete. And another interesting thing, and I'll answer questions for you, as far as where we are right now for January of 2022, our collections are up about $53,000 above budget. So we're doing very well right now. Now, you got to remember, we are collecting December taxes paid. We may dip a little bit in the next month, but we also have 5 shows coming to the auditorium, 4 or 5 shows that they'll talk about later.
1, 2,
That's
3,
going to
4,
boost our
5.
sales tax here for the first quarter, which tends to be our weakest quarter. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what the results are going to be in the next 90 days. So it's going to be good. I'm really, really happy with it.
Well, thank you for this graph. This is.
You like that?
I do like this. You know I like this, right? I like to see this because it clearly gives us a clear view. What's great about this, we can see COVID, right? You can just say, well, there's our COVID problem. And then you can look on here and we can see where we're weak, just clearly and visually, and I like it. So
These are real numbers, and you can see that there's things that happen in our world, whether it's COVID or governor's mandates or sickness and so on, and you can clearly see where people start to stay at home because of those events. And it's just a good way to monitor how you spend your money, how effective your money has been, really. So I'm real happy with the numbers.
Anything else, questions?
I have questions. What's your last name, Scott?
Barden,
Barden?
B as in boy, A-R-D-I-N.
Thank you. How long have you been with us? Sorry that I don't know these things, but
I was working with I was a commissioner of Parks and Recs for about 3 years.
Oh, okay.
And, thank you.
Right, good,
And
good.
I've been working here since the middle of September of last year, full-time, 30 hours a week. So here, actively working for CAPC.
Awesome. So I just hear you added Libby?
Yes.
Okay, is she under you, or is she just an office manager under
She
Libby is our
works,
office
Madison?
coordinator.
Okay.
So she reports to me.
She does accounts payable and receivable, or what's her position?
She helps us all.
Autumn, can we keep this on to the
Yeah,
budget?
I'm just asking.
If you have any of those kind of
I
questions.
have more budget questions. I'll move on to those.
You go meet with the staff, go meet with Madison,
I understand.
take time.
I'm moving on.
Not
So for the chart of accounts for our budget, I see that lodging collections is all lumped in together on 4011. Why are we not separating those out into the correct chart of accounts? Hotel, motel, bed and breakfast collections.
up until 2021, it was done that way.
Okay,
When I came on board is the way you see it now.
okay.
I do keep up with those numbers, though.
Well, what
And,
would be your reasoning of not passing that information on to us?
It's available to you at any
Okay.
time that you want it. You just need to call Scott and you can have it.
Okay, I'm just
Yeah.
wondering why it's not in here.
It's 100% available to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I remember when this changed, and we asked some questions about it at that time, and I recall the person that was doing the accounting mentioned something about because we began collecting from VRBO, that there was some confusion about how much money was coming from each institution or each type. Is that correct?
That would be correct. To me, in my opinion, there are so many businesses that cross over from hotel, motel to lodging to delicatessen to cafe to concession stand, grocery store.
Yeah.
Do we start, according to the ordinance, it says concession stands, so are we going to start asking Eureka Springs Middle School and Elementary to start submitting a CAPC tax report?
It also says venue, right, rentals?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Campgrounds, RV parks.
Can you gather that up? We'll put that in a workshop.
Okay, got it right here.
Let's put that in the workshop and take a look at it.
Okay.
Okay. do that.
So, with the chart of accounts, I would just prefer that it either was removed or we separate it out.
What do you mean removed? I'm sorry.
Well, I feel like if a chart of accounts should never be zero.
Oh, I agree with you.
You know what I mean?
Yes, ma'am. I agree with you.
Either we
I don't
fix
want-
that or whatever.
Okay, I agree with you 100% with that.
Okay. And then I've just got a couple questions for the special events. I'm wondering if I could just get some more information, maybe some receipts for the Folk Festival, the May Festival of Arts, and the Music in the Park, just at some point later on.
Okay.
I'm questioning, too, the memberships and the office expenses. What is that?
Under memberships, we have member dues that we pay to associations. Some of it is music licensing also. And the other question was on office supplies. I would have to look into that because that's not something I have on my mind right now.
Office supplies? Well, no, okay, so it's under office expenses, and then it's tagged memberships.
Are you looking at December or are you looking at a year-to-date?
I'm looking at year-to-date.
Okay, let me get there with you.
Well, any of them, really. I'm just wondering what that is, what that code means.
So that would be things like Adobe.
Okay.
Things like that.
Okay.
Things
I
that we
got you.
pay
A yearly.
monthly for, a yearly
Okay.
membership or software, or anything
Okay,
like
yeah.
that.
Thank you.
And I can provide you with a breakdown
Okay,
of our budget,
okay,
line items, what they're used for, everything like that.
okay. I would like that. Well, my only other one was office contingency. We spent $18,000 last year on that.
So we,
What's
again,
that?
we can provide you with what we've spent in the previous years. We've only been here for the last 3 to 4 months and 6 months. So
Okay.
if you want to come in, we can go over exactly what they spent on that and what we've spent on that.
Okay,
And what we plan to use for it for this
that.
year.
Okay. I think that's all I had. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
These
You're
are
very
great.
welcome.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Very nice.
Question about delinquencies. As you report, December was good, probably more than we thought it would be. Sometimes that results from large lodgings that are delinquent in their collections and happen to remit them in a certain month,
Yes,
which
sir.
can skew the numbers significantly
Correct.
in a slow month. So we're not getting delinquency reports anymore in the financials.
There was one month, and that might have been in November, where we had a high number of delinquency payments, up to, I think, around $15,000 came in from delinquencies that should have been paid on a current basis.
That would give us a better idea of what's motivating the numbers to rise or fall, or,
That was the only time I recall where it was, in my opinion, significant. Mainly, it's probably, a couple $100 or something like that.
And as I recall, in our January 4th meeting, you mentioned that the number of delinquencies, because you're working hard at it, has really increased from an average of 17 to more like 5,
Correct.
sometimes 4 or 3.
Correct.
So-
It is going down.
We have Scott has a lot fewer to worry about because he's been very gentle and reminding people they need to pay up.
Correct. Will you please send us that email, the delinquent report?
Yeah,
Yeah,
be glad to.
we'll take care of that right now. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you
Anything
very
else for
much,
Scott?
everybody.
If not, we already had a motion and a second.
motion to approve the financials.
Who seconded it?
I did.
Okay. That's Carol,
Yes.
Autumn,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
Patrick?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, moving on. Staff reports. Madison, you want
Okay,
to take this?
I have a few updates for you guys, and then I'm going to go over a year in review I did. In addition to that, Sarah with Paradise is here, and she's going to kind of jump in to talk about Paradise and if you guys have any questions. So just a couple of updates. Like Scott said, our lift has been put in. It's inspected, ready to go. It's great. Sarai is very happy that we have a new one. We have started paint down in the basement. The elevator is a wonderful maroon red. In addition to that, we have sent, last time,
You see,
Mr. DeVito wanted us to ask the municipal league about
Elevator.
yeah,
the grant program that we were trying to implement. That question with the help of Mayor Barry has been sent to the Municipal League, and we're just waiting on their advice. And then I'm going to go over my year in review. I'm going to jump around a little bit because I touch on Paradise a bit, but I'm going to do them at the end so Sarah can jump in after I've done talking about everything I need to talk about. Okay. So the Eureka Springs CAPC has implemented many successful marketing strategies in 2021.
Madison, excuse me, would you mind pulling the mic a little closer?
Sorry
Thank
about
you.
that. Can you hear me better?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. The Eureka Springs CAPC has implemented many successful marketing strategies in 2021. To better show these efforts, there are 3 categories I would like to address: CAPC finances, the overview of collections, internal marketing strategies and events, and Paradise advertising and marketing strategies and efforts. So below you'll see the finances are broken down. With Scott's help, I have made little graphs that show our actuals versus our budget. I won't go over all of those with you, but just so you have them there. I will just say, to sum up the financials, after a historical comparison, we found that 2021 was a record year for CAPC tax collections. So I'm going to talk about internal marketing strategies and events. We're on the 3rd page here. The CAPC implemented a Q4 marketing campaign in October 2021. This campaign focused on shop small. We highlighted shop local, unique gifts, holiday shopping, unique dining, etc. The CAP staff placed ads, radio and television in the following markets: Fort Smith, Fayetteville, Bentonville, Rogers, Tulsa, and Springfield. There were 3 television segments associated with this regional campaign, 2 holiday segments on this place in Springfield, and 1 holiday shopping segment on News on 6 in Tulsa. In addition to these media placements, the CAP staff planned and executed a local photo shoot. This was a holiday shopping photo shoot with a girls' getaway theme of shop, wine, repeat. We're very excited to continue to work with local photographers. I talked about doing a photography RFP for the year of 2022. We're excited to work more with our local photographers. We'll think that'll be great. We also had 2 really successful events in 2021. The Basin Park Summer Music Series was incredibly successful and well attended. There's a breakdown here. It really shows our talent and the dates we had it. On the next page, just a little quick breakdown: 11 weekends of live music in the park. They had a budget of $25,000. They spent $22,000 on musicians and $3,000 on tech. Going into Folk Fest, that's our largest event of the year. It's a great way to bring tourists to our town, and it was wonderfully reviewed by attendees. Please see the list of headliners below with tickets sold and a budget overview. So I'm going to skip over Paradise and go to that last. Go to the next page. The 2021 year was a successful one for the CAPC. We've closed an office and moved to our new space in the auditorium. We're very committed to the success of the auditorium. The CAPC is proud to be a part of the ongoing renovations to the Aud because I believe it's an essential piece to the tourism of Eureka Springs. We are excited to continue to bring regional and national tourism to our very special piece of Arkansas in 2022. And I'm going to go into the staff here. The CAPC team is an incredibly hardworking staff, and their efforts have been monumental in our year of transition. Libby, as we talked about earlier, she's been our office coordinator for a little over 3 weeks, and she's already a valued member of our team. In her short time with us, Libby has spearheaded our office renovations, RFP procedures and forms, grant program, etc. Libby is an experienced problem solver and master at customer service. She's a go-getter and takes on responsibility of her own volition. She continually impresses me every day. I can say things like, hey, we have an issue with our Staples account. She is on it. We've had problems with our phones. She calls Cox and solves it within an hour. She's wonderful. She is exactly like what I said. She's a go-getter. She's incredibly valuable to us. Sarai's knowledge about the auditorium and the city of Eureka Springs has been invaluable. She's a wealth of assistance in all things auditorium and provides wisdom, advice, and encouragement to our ongoing efforts regarding the auditorium. She's an incredibly hardworking staff member and proves her worth daily. Sarai is, I can't even sum her up. She has continually worked so hard with us, and been there. She's a wealth of knowledge about the auditorium and Eureka Springs, and she knows the history of the Aud and Eureka Springs. It's awesome to have her as our staff. She's just really, really great. Ron is a strong member of the auditorium team. His knowledge of technology has been an important asset to the auditorium's success. Also, he's been a team player in many forms. Ron was vital in planning the summer music series. He's also provided great insight to the auditorium renovations. He's eased many growing pains in the transition of the CAP's leadership in the past year. I'll just say that there's no question I can't come to Ron with. He's really beneficial to us. I appreciate him every day. From technology to auditorium, again, he's a wealth of knowledge. Scott's efforts over the last 3 months have proven to be crucial in our financial department. Scott has implemented many new and efficient procedures to ensure our transparency as a municipality. In addition to this, Scott is a team player. His assistance in our office move was vital to its completion and success. He provides perspective, guidance, and encouragement to the entire CAPC team. As I know many of you know, Scott's knowledge in the financial department is incredibly, again, beneficial to us. But not only that, he is someone to look to for advice on everything that we do, tourism-related, marketing, everything. He's been there, done that, and he knows what to say. He's great. We have shaped up our finance department since he's been here. And one thing I didn't put in my report that I should have has been his efforts with the delinquent stakeholders. It's really, I keep using the word beneficial, but he's an asset to us. Molly began her time with us as an intern. At that time, she was tasked with planning the very successful summer music series in the midst of COVID from the ground up. Since then, she's embraced her role as the marketing director and auditorium operations manager. She's implemented stakeholder communications, regional marketing campaigns, event and staff management procedures, and continues to provide fresh and intelligent ideas that contributes to the success of the auditorium and the CAPC. Molly spearheads a lot of our social media aspects. She is ready to take on any task you give her. As Ron wonderfully puts it, she's the taskmaster. You give her something and she's done it. It's awesome. She's great. I will sum that up by saying the CAPC would be nowhere without its staff. We're proud to represent the Eureka Springs stakeholders, the auditorium, and the CAPC. I'm going to jump back to Paradise, so Sarah will be able to talk with us a bit. So I've just done, just so everyone's aware, Paradise will be giving us a full year in review report by mid-February. So this is just some things that I've picked out that I've noticed since I've been here. Paradise has been imperative to the CAPC's marketing success. They have masterfully navigated the uncharted waters of the worldwide pandemic economy. Please see some great metrics below. There's a couple that I'm pretty impressed by. I'm not going to read all of these. You guys are more than welcome to ask me any questions you have, but by April, our social media impressions had grown by 193%. We reached over 426,000 people in the month of April. In May, our page reach was over 808,000 people with 137,000 video views. In October, our impressions grew by 41% with a total of 1.04 million. Our video completion rate in November was 92.33%, which is huge. In addition to that, the PR team coordinated a media visit for the month of November with a travel writer. That's something that we're going to try and pursue a bit more this year. And we have Sarah here. She might have a couple of things to talk about. She's more here for any questions you guys have for her. Oh no, we can't hear you, Sarah.
Oh,
She muted.
Is she muted?
It's not muted on our side.
she's not.
We want to hear Sarah.
Can we-
Ron, would it be better if I called her and just put her up to my mic? Okay. In the meantime, do you guys have any questions for me?
Thank you for putting this together.
For sure. And read through it. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. I'm happy to answer them.
Maybe?
Speak. Nope, can't hear it.
I can call her. Would that be okay?
Man, we just talked about how things were going so good, and then the live stream doesn't work.
Yeah, well.
I'm just glad we have text.
Yes, me too.
You know, while we're waiting, and I love the graphs, so easy to see. You know, we had talked, I think, last meeting about spending some more money in December next year.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yay! Okay. Technology, it's our friend, isn't it, everybody? It's so wonderful to see you guys. Good evening, and commissioners, it's nice to see your faces, both old and new. We're both you, Commissioner Slane and Commissioner Roberts, as we move into the fiscal year. As Madison shared, we will be in a much more formal presentation to you guys come mid-February. Your marketing and all of our campaigns, both regionally and out of state, wrapped at the end of December. And so we give our media vendors 45 days, especially at the end of a year campaign, as we just went through, to really report out to us and then to provide our team time to analyze that data and then be able to put it back out to you guys in a comprehensive forum. So we are going to, I actually reached out to some media vendors to try and push them to deliver those to us as soon as they possibly can so that we might be able to present at the February 9th meeting workshop. If that is not the case, then it will be either whether you guys call a special meeting or it will be at the following true CAPC meeting in February. For those of you, I'm sorry I didn't introduce myself. Sarah Galen, I am your group director. For those commissioners that are new, I may have come in passing with you at some point in my travels to Eureka Springs. I know, Slane, we've met with your husband during a trip last year and had a lovely conversation with him. But I am your director. I definitely don't do this alone, that you'll be meeting as we move through these next coming weeks of presentations and conversations with you all. I have been on with Paradise since October of 2020, and it's just been a real delight working with the CAPC, both old and new. Madison and Molly, I cannot thank them enough for just their responsiveness, their openness, and just really hearing what our best recommendation is for the destination. So going back to where Madison left off, I just want to let you guys know, she did mention in November that video completion rate, 82%, is insane. The average, industry average, well below that. You are quadrupling that open rate. So everything on your campaign and everything in our efforts is a direct correlation to those tax collections. And so for you guys to see those numbers throughout the year, I know that what we are doing, as a group, the CAPC, and our efforts together in collaboration with you all, we're hitting the mark, right? We are pinpoint marketing, messaging at the right time to the right people. As we move through the next several weeks, is where I kind of just want to give you an update as to planning. We are heads down in planning. We had an amazing kickoff with Madison and her team in early January where we got together and we deep dived into, the big ask of this year. What are some goals? What do we want to achieve? What are those big initiatives? And so it was an excellent workshop, a little over an hour and a half. Into almost 2 hours, honestly, where we just deep dived. And so steps, as most of you are familiar with, is now we go into what we consider strategic planning. And that will evolve into a framework of a strategy. And from there, we will be presenting a full-blown marketing plan to and then obviously the CAPC as a whole. So we would suspect that we are working on timelines and milestones which will be delivered to Madison roughly early next week, just to be able to give some parameters of when you guys will be seeing those marketing plans come out, and then we will move on from there. All I can say is I think that 2022 is going to be an exciting year. We laid some phenomenal foundation last year in the diverse category. I know that some of you may have seen or heard Madison provide an update as it relates to the LGBTQ marketing that we did this year in tandem with the Passport magazine. That was part of the Ask a Local program. I know Commissioner Nibbles was nicely highlighted within that, but that program, just as a reminder to you all,
Commissioner
was really
Nibbles?
featuring.
I like it. I think it
Nibbles,
should stick.
For Mr. Nibbles?
I love it.
It's been a long day.
Can we all have nicknames, Sarah?
Yes, I apologize, how embarrassing. Glad I can give you guys a laugh and lighten the mood a little bit. Anyhow, so that was a great program. It was a award-winning program for Passport magazine.
Awesome.
And we've just received some really beautiful feedback on that piece itself that really was a collaboration with both the CAPC and those local stakeholders within the LGBTQ market. So what I'm getting at is we laid some great foundation in several areas that we will be expanding on as we move forward this year. So we are in planning phase. As it relates to the photo shoot that we did over the fall, those images have come back. I know that Madison has seen them. I believe she shared those with you guys as well. We are currently in production, getting those new banner ads geared up, so that when we do launch the new campaign, we are ready to go, new creative. And I think that you guys are really going to, I think you're really going to, so, we will give a much more thorough presentation, like I said, in mid-February. That's going to be encompassing of 2021, as well as just sharing any additional highlights. The PR perspective this year has just, I think, been a game changer of, that brand awareness and who Eureka is. I just pulled some numbers that I looked at, and it's in your monthly report, a reminder to that. That typically comes out the 15th of every month, and that is provided for the month prior. So January, you received December's report, and we proceed in that forum in terms of reporting. But what I'd like to mention is that your PR efforts are through the roof. If I looked at the numbers really quickly, I believe it was 64 million was the estimated media value, with your impressions around like 7 billion. So their efforts in PR strong, they're containing. We've had several wonderful discussions with Madison on how to do that process in terms of bringing in, quality versus quantity of the media traveler and media writer into the destination, and how do we connect them with holders so that they can understand, one, the value of the CAPC, and two, the value of what that means to have that kind of caliber media writer in your destination. It's really everyone putting their best foot forward, and so we're going to blow that out a little bit and move through the next couple months with some best practices and whatnot for Madison and her team, as well as anything that she can share with stakeholders. So we got things moving, you guys. We came into last year with expanding our scope of services with the CAPC, and that's been predominantly in blog content creation, website maintenance, and as well as social played a big role in that, and regional. And so I think what we all learned is that was a great expansion, right? We've identified areas of improvement. I know that there's an RFP out for website, a brand new website this year that we hope will really set you guys apart as we move forward in that digital as well. Definitely needed. We've seen that as a few weeks have come up with different scenarios of stakeholders needing updates to the site, or Unfortunately, Mardi Gras campaign was kind of slated to hold, and we had a lot geared up towards that. But nevertheless, we're excited of what the future holds for fiscal year 22 and as we move into the following year as well. So I'm open to any questions.
I have a question.
I know that Slane and Commissioner Roberts, we definitely reached out to you. We'd love to get on your schedules. Commissioner Roberts, we landed on a date and to speak with you next week, but we do anticipate being in early spring. We always come in and we want to meet with you guys first as commissioners. But last year, that February workshop of being able to meet with local stakeholders really opened up some great conversation, insights into, new areas that we need to be exploring. And so Paradise will always welcome that kind of conversation and collaboration with not just the CAPC, but your local stakeholders as well. So we will continue that as next quarter one into fiscal year 22. So
I have a question.
any questions?
I have a question for you. Can you hear me? Did you say
I can hear you.
we had 1 billion impressions? The word B?
No,
How many
7 billion
impression-
in media?
In the PR?
64 million, I think is what she said.
What-
64 million was your media value, and your impressions were in the billions, 7 billion, yes.
Millions or billions?
Million, 7 million,
Millions,
64 million impressions.
Yeah.
Okay, email that to me.
4 million.
No, it is, it's 7
Yeah.
billion.
No,
B as in boy,
it's-
it is
oh.
7 billion estimated impressions.
Yeah.
That's our
Whoa.
public relation.
That's our
You see
PR
all of
efforts.
the magazine articles and you see the love destinations and whatever those impressions have gotten us into the billions.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if you, actually, if you look back on my report, you'll see how much we've grown.
I just wanted to,
That's a good clarification.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty good.
It's
That's
a
pretty good
large
for a town of 2,000 people.
clarification.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's the top of the funnel, but if you get them over the funnel, they can get in the funnel.
Sarah,
Exactly. And
I have a question.
go ahead.
It's regarding, you were talking about our revamped website. Could you just, I know we'll be doing an RFP for that, or have already done that, but I'm wondering how much more differently people will be able to see us through a revised website.
Ooh, so I'm just going to be transparent with you guys. That is not my area of expertise. We have many of team members is their area, specifically Nicole, who leads not only our accounts team, but also our digital marketing space. Broad brushstrokes, right? A mobile-friendly, user-friendly website as it relates to tourism, a game changer. I think that you've a lot of opportunity within that. Our team has certainly identified several different areas which are excited to submit into that RFP. But there is, the site itself right now, I don't think is everything that it could be for a visitor to seek information, to be inspired. And that's just limited with the design, honestly. So when you look at that UX design and UI, I mean, that is not my language that I speak, truly, but there is a lot of opportunity. And so I would welcome, Carol, if you want to hop on a side conversation, if we want to bring in our web team to a meeting one-on-one. We certainly don't want to give away all of our thoughts and ideas with that being an open RF. So I just think there's a lot of opportunity.
And I'm also wondering, I know that you guys represent some other A&Ps in Arkansas, as well as the Northwest Arkansas group. Can you talk to us about economies of scale, what we're getting sort of extra because you guys are kind of all over Arkansas?
I'm going to ask you to kind of clarify that a little bit further for me, just so that I answer it appropriately. When you say what you're getting extra, can you?
Well, just how does the overlap work, for instance, with the Northwest Council? How is that going to help us more?
Sure. So without being too in-depth here, you know, the Northwest Arkansas Association, we are their agency currently. We have presented a number of items this year that are going to strengthen them from a data perspective. And I think that as Madison's on that board, she's heard, you know, throughout the last couple of months here, what that data can do for everybody. Partnering with a program called Zartico that really looks at how a visitor moves throughout a region. Specifically for NADA, it's throughout the region. And I think that we will be able to, what we're suspecting that we'll be able to do with their members, so all 11 municipalities, is to share that data. And as you, data is invaluable, right? It helps us, you know, shape and shift what we're doing. And so from that perspective, Carol, absolutely, you know, you're going to have that overlap just because you're included in there. And so we're going to take advantage of that on both sides. But there's other opportunities, you know, as they may arise, that it's just nice to have a in within another organization within y'all's backyard, right? And, you know, collaborate in a sense together. With Madison sitting on that board, it holds a nice place for her to be able to, you know, ask us questions, for us for questions. And so as that relationship expands, you know, answer that a little more directly, but right off the top, that's how I would see it. The opportunity to receive that data and that information and how visitors are crossing through the Northwest Arkansas region is a big change for what you guys currently have access to.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? We're running long, so try to move this along. Anybody else have anything for Sarah? Okay, Sarah, thank you so much. We will be in touch.
Wonderful to see you.
Bye, Sarah.
Okay, Molly, are you ready for us?
I am.
Perfect.
I am ready. Can you all hear me? There
We
go.
can.
Okay, so I think Ron has my report he can pull up on the screen, but you'll just see my staff report in your packet. I started off with the odd, and that's our Q1 shows. So we have about 5, January, February, March, and April. So coming up this Saturday is Tracy Lawrence. We already have 553 tickets sold, so it should be a really good event. February 18th, Sierra Farrell, about 400 tickets. March 23rd, we have Lyle Lovett, which is 430 tickets sold already. And then March 25th, we have the rescheduled Marshall Tucker Band show, which is 651. And then April 2nd, another rescheduled show is Coco Peru with 229 tickets sold. So we were able to boost those numbers a little bit by using MailChimp, which is a fantastic service, and it raised each show by about 20 tickets within 24 hours of the schedule being sent out. So we can kind of move down to marketing. Just recently, before the end of the year, we started the Eureka Springs CAPC announcement page. So it makes the CAPC staff a little bit more accessible to stakeholders. So I'll post like events happening, so all of the Christmas events, like the window decorating contest, information on marketing support, calendar submission details, so we can have a little bit more interaction with our stakeholders. We had a meeting with Paradise, I think this week or last week, about what we want to focus on for marketing in 2022. And as boots on the ground, as the marketing director here, I really want to focus on Facebook and Instagram Lives, so people can really see what's happening, you know, with parades, concerts, and getting some beautiful scenery. We really see that we have increased exposure because someone may comment on a live and it'll show up in their friends' newsfeed. So more people come over to our Facebook page and hopefully follow it. Another in the vein of you know, local engagement and getting more exposure is really utilizing the amazing artists and business people that we have here. So maybe looking at their backstories or looking at like their new products or promoting an event that they may be having, and it's more, one-on-one conversation with someone who owns a business or an artist, so I'm looking forward to that, and that'll mostly be on Facebook and Instagram. And next, we have the citywide community events calendar. I've been posting that as much as possible for every month, and that's every event happening, no matter what venue, just in the vicinity of Eureka Springs. And that's been really cool to kind of combine all the events. There's never really been like a calendar with everybody on it, so it's been good to get the word out about everybody's events. Next, we have media visits. So that's when a journalist would come and they would write like a blogs, which is like organic material that we can post and others can find, maybe not in more of a promotional way, but in an organic way on the internet. And then we have our in-house regional media campaign. So that's like media buys and photo shoots, boosting social posts, and like social campaigns. And I think that's all I have for you guys. Any questions?
I have a question. So when you're saying features on local businesses and artists, are we limiting that to our stakeholders, or is this just anybody that wants to be involved? Or what are the rules that apply there?
I really wouldn't put any rules on it. I think anyone that wants to be involved and has a great story to tell, I'd be happy to work with them.
So what if they're outside of the city limits and do not pay this tax?
I would limit it to Eureka Springs businesses. Since we are the Eureka Springs page, I think that'd be best.
Still, anything that our guests enjoy, anything that brings people to this area is a good thing. So I love not limiting it to those that only pay the tax.
Right.
Well, actually,
Because we have guests who come to go to Crystal Bridges, but they love to stay here because of the food and the shopping. And the shopping doesn't pay CAPC tax, but we have plenty of guests that enjoy coming for shopping trips, which, I totally understand. I enjoy shopping here.
And some of
And our authority does extend beyond the city limits. We have commissioners that are not from the city limits. We can promote things outside of the city limits, so we're not bound by the city limits per se.
Yeah, like some of the attractions,
Yeah.
That particularly families might enjoy, I think, are outside the city limits. So I think they all kind of work together. So
Sure.
that's great. And obviously the artists don't necessarily have a business in town. I think
Right.
that's great.
So, hey, Molly, do you have a schedule of when you're going to be posting? Do you have something that you're kind of trying to do on a regular basis on that page?
So it depends on, you mean the CAPC Facebook page?
Yeah, the announcement page. I was extremely excited to see it come up, but I know that I haven't seen any notifications lately. It would be nice to have something that's a regularly scheduled, almost like the way the newspapers come out, Wednesdays and Thursdays around here.
Yeah, I'm still trying to schedule kind of what content we want to put out there. I know that it'd be great to have like a reminder of how to submit your taxes, or a reminder of how to submit your event, or...
Yeah, I don't think reiterating things hurts at all,
Yeah.
because it gets lost in news feeds very quickly.
Absolutely.
So, awesome.
Any other questions for Molly?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Molly.
Thank you.
Okay, public comments? Anybody want to do public comments? Okay, we'll move
I'll
on.
make a comment.
Want to do?
On our, how you set this up, traditionally, it would be after the minutes that we have public comments, because some people don't like to stick around for an hour of grinding sausage.
I'll do that. I'll move it up next time.
But we don't mind if they sit around and grind sausage.
Well, we,
But we'll take it. Okay, no public comments? Okay. Agenda updates? Anybody got any agenda updates?
Are we going to be discussing the new person that we're going to be putting on the commission here, or?
I don't have that on today's agenda. Would you like to make a motion?
I would like to make a motion to put on to
we
vote
have-
on the new commissioner.
well, could we give them an opportunity to attend?
Well, this would just be for discussion, because we don't have anybody here, and we don't have any applicants here for us to look at, so we would just only be able to have discussion about it.
So she had said vote, you had
Yeah,
said
let's,
discussion, so,
It would just be a discussion.
yeah.
When are we going to do that? I mean, maybe just setting a date would be nice. So then the public knows, hey, you have until
Yeah,
this date.
we still have applicants that are still looking to apply, and so when we get all those applicants in, I'll be glad to bring them to you.
So could I make a motion to vote on this by the next meeting, the 9th?
Vote on what?
on the next commissioner.
Oh, actually vote on the
Yeah,
person?
Yeah.
So you're wanting to put a deadline?
Yeah, I'm just
People
wanting to get
applying.
I just want to make sure it happens.
Well, it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen, so I don't think there's any need for that.
I'd rather not be bound by a specific date. I mean, if we can't
Right.
interview them. And
Okay, then I'll make a motion to vote on it this evening.
Vote on it, say,
you need a second.
would you, I could do what you said.
To
I'll
vote
second
on the
that.
commissioner.
Okay?
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, so,
You might want to mention who we're voting for.
well, that's it. We don't have any applicants before us.
Oh, they were sent in the,
Yeah, but
An email.
no one's been given time to meet with them, interview them, talk to them. It would be pretty immature.
oh, I've talked to both of them.
We,
So-
normally,
Sorry.
what we've done is, we figure out when we're going to do this, we get them to submit like a resume or something. Why do you want to do this? We have a form.
Well, I think they've already done that. It should be in your email
I've
box.
received emails. I don't have any
Well, I
official.
received one, but
Yeah,
I
there's not
think,
been any official announcement on it.
yeah, I think we need the office to coordinate it so we all get the same information about whoever, because I mean, Melissa mentioned there was someone just before she left, but she never gave us a name. And I got an email from a lady this week, but that's the only one I think I've received. So why don't we try to coordinate it?
Well, we have a motion and we have a second, so let's just take a vote and let's just see if we want to put basically a vote on there. Carol?
No.
No. Autumn?
Yes.
James?
No.
Nick?
Yes.
Patrick?
No.
Okay, so that's three, and then I'll be the fourth, no. Okay, so motion does not carry. Thank you. Okay, any other agenda updates? Okay, old business, we have Anthony here to give us his presentation. This is a follow-up for marketing support. We thank you so much for bringing tourists to town, and we'll turn it over to you.
Thank you all. You'll see I've got a presentation on the screen. I've also, before we get started, I've included some pictures, just a couple pictures of the event so you can kind of see what it looked like from our view. We were very, very excited about those that attended our first pageant this year. So, just a quick recap, we were granted $5,000 by the CAPC Commission for marketing for this pageant, Arkansas Continental. The money that we used was divided upon aggressive Facebook targeting and marketing videos that were shared via a marketing video that was shared via social media, flyers that were handed out and distributed throughout the downtown businesses and those located on the highway, as well as a banner that hung over Spring Street. I forgot to include one other one, but the other thing that we used it for was we did a radio spot throughout Northwest Arkansas to help promote the event as well. As you all know, we faced an uphill battle being able to put on not only a first-year pageant, but we decided to hold the event in what was historically one of the slowest months of the year for tourism within Eureka Springs. Not only that, January is very unpredictable with weather. Specifically on that day of the pageant, it was on a Saturday. We faced rain and cold weather, which actually caused us to cancel our pageant parade downtown. Obviously, we're still struggling with the COVID implications. Omicron variant was near its peak, and as we all know, was all over the news, which naturally causes people to not want to venture out of their homes. But, with all of those things in consideration, we were aware that there may have been others in the past that have received marketing dollars, and maybe due to COVID, maybe due to other events, were not able to proceed with their event. It was important for us to proceed cautiously with the money that we were given to be able to show that we were good stewards of the funds that were awarded to us. On the next slide, we've provided a kind of a cool little map to kind of just give you a tangible view of where our guest came from. We had individuals from 49 different cities that attended, as well as 14 different states. So this information was grabbed and targeted from our sale methods of places like Square, Eventbrite, and so on. I say all that to say that we had a highly successful first-year pageant. We clocked over 400 attendees. The Odd itself was able to make $1,081.74 in concession sales. And we were able to successfully bring Eureka O'Hara, recently Emmy Award-winning entertainer. And I'm happy to say that that went without a hitch. So some of the things that I want to talk to you about is we know that this was a first-year event of this type, or a first event of this type here at the Odd. Eureka Springs is quickly becoming known as gay-friendly, all-accepting, and an inclusive tourist town. Events like this continue to create safe spaces and healthy outlets for those within diverse communities. I would like to take a moment to provide you with some history. It was not long ago that an event like this, or even the opportunity for marketing dollars of such said event, would be possible. In 2012, Walter Burrell and Lee Keating, former owners of Eureka Live, were instructed by a local stakeholder within Eureka Springs, in quotes, to keep the gays in the basement of Eureka Live for their event, all while asking for sponsorship money to support this said community event. 2 short years later, in 2014, gay marriage became legal in Arkansas. Fast forward to 2015, the Eureka Springs City Council passed ordinance number 2223 by a landslide, 71% of voters, that provided protection for those within the LGBTQ+ community. The Eureka Springs City Council passed ordinance number 2223 on February 9th, 2015. This ordinance provides anti-discrimination protection for residents and visitors in areas of employment, housing, and in public accommodations. I want to quote an article that was written by the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette dated May 13, 2015. Lamont Ritchie, at the time a Carroll County Justice of the Peace, who drafted ordinance number 2223, spoke to a crowd of about 100 people celebrating the victory of said ordinance. He says, in quote, "What is really special about tonight is that we are all legal. We are the only community in Arkansas that legitimizes a broad range of people. Mayor Butch Berry called this a historic movement for the people of Eureka Springs. At the time, Alderman James DeVito, now Commissioner DeVito, stated that it was a good thing for Eureka Springs, the state of Arkansas, and the country in general. DeVito went on to say, if there was any question, this vote margin sealed the deal right, 71 to 29%, which left no uncertainty about how Eureka Springs feels about civil rights." In 2017, the Gospel of Eureka documentary was released. This was award-winning hit in which tourism boosted and in turn brought new individuals to town, which also continued to create safe spaces for those within our community. Walter Burrell was even nominated and took home the award for Best Southern Film by the Hot Springs Film Festival. In addition, Walter Burrell was also awarded the Documentary Star of the Month in Documentary Magazine following this monumental documentary film. I say all this to say that Eureka Springs has always been a trendsetter in human rights. Most recently, we have been mentioned several times in the hit show Dope Stick on Hulu, focusing on how Eureka Springs is a very gay-friendly town. It's remarkable that a town of only 2,000 people is being recognized nationally for inclusivity, a friendly community, and support for all people. Our work is not over. Even while we have made so many amazing strides, we still face adversity. Even within our own event, we faced attacks from a local business attempting to create a boycott of our own event. Calls to the city inquiring about the legitimacy of our parade, posing as a concerned citizen attempting to ensure we had a proper parade permit to operate. Malicious, false and slanderous spoof articles and social media attacks, including some family members and close friends of those within this very commission and a select few within the City Council. It is time that we stop standing in each other's way of success and we start cheering on one another. If one succeeds, we all do. All business is good for this town. Let me repeat myself. All business is good for this town. Without it, we will cease to exist. I say all this to say that the time is now. Our work is just now beginning. It is events such as the newly introduced Arkansas Continental, the highly popular Diversity Weekends, Ozark music festivals, and hopefully others in the near future that will continue to forge this amazing path for Eurekans. I only expect this event to be the start. We look forward to another successful and ever-growing event here at the Odd next year in Eureka Springs. I want to conclude by thanking the Eureka Springs CAPC for your generous marketing dollars, the ability to utilize the Odd for the event, the hard work of Madison and Molly, and the continued support of people within our community and those that choose to vacation within our magical city. Without you, all of these opportunities could not be possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony.
Thank you.
I have two questions. Yeah, thank you. I have two questions. One, tickets sold? Do you have a tickets sold count that what you?
It was just about, it was 400 and I want to say 21 or 24, just over 420.
And then total attendance?
We don't have the exact number.
Okay, so, but above 420, so.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great presentation. Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
There's, excuse me, there's no doubt that your event was absolutely beneficial to this community, and thank you for putting it on. I just have a couple questions about, did you rent the space?
We did.
The Odd? Okay, and then did you use some of these funds to make the video?
We used marketing dollars to
Okay,
make
yours.
a video for
Okay.
marketing, yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry about any comments that you may be referring to. I feel like some of that may have been in the crosshairs of what this commission has done and had nothing to do with you.
With all due respect, the comments were not made by anyone that were currently sitting on the commission.
I understand, but I know what you're referring to. So I'm sorry about that as far as the committee.
I don't.
I don't know what you're referring to.
Well,
Autumn, are you
this
looking,
is-
do you have this?
This is to you.
Do you have this
yes.
sheet? Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to point out on here, it shows the revenue, that revenue, that's the rental.
Oh, okay.
And then if you see on here, correct me if I'm wrong, you provided your own labor force for your event. That's why the
did? Okay.
the $1,500 charge. Normally, the rental here is, Madison, help me with the numbers.
So our normal fee is $3,000 if we provide staff. They provide their own staff, it's $15.
Okay,
Right.
that's
And
fine.
just also to clarify, down at the bottom, the marketing funding support breakdown, the funding support that they received from CAPC was just for Facebook ad and printed materials.
Okay.
That's right.
So, as a commission, are we requiring people to submit the receipts and things?
Absolutely.
And-
So a couple of
Okay.
things. They don't receive any money until they provide a receipt. So
Oh,
they-
okay.
They pay for their marketing, and they bring those receipts.
Or if,
Madison,
yes, so
Tamale,
that's typically what we do
whatever,
is,
so-
for example, AKC Ventures, the Continental pageantry system, they provided us with receipts for the Facebook advertising, right? So we reimbursed those, but for printed materials, we just paid a portion of that invoice straight to Wicker Walker because we knew what it was used for.
Okay, awesome.
So that's how it amounts to $5,000. But we always, now, currently, for funding support, we always ask for either an invoice that we understand what it's being used for, or for receipts that they can explain how they used it.
Gotcha.
So we keep that all on file.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just to be clear,
Great
no
presentation.
CAPC tax dollars were used for prize money.
Correct.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing this, especially in January. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, next January, watch, just typical of Arkansas, it'll be shorts weather, during your event.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I was sweating leading up to it, I'll tell you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, new business, we have to elect our chair, vice chair, secretary.
I'd like to nominate Jeff Carter as chair.
I'll second.
Okay, so let me write that down. Carol has
Are you willing?
yes,
I mean, we can vote you in, but if you're not willing,
yes.
okay.
I committed to this, and
Thank you.
I'm not a quitter,
Yes.
even though some days. Okay, so Carol and Patrick. Okay, any discussion on that, or do we want to just vote? Okay, Carol?
Yes?
Yes. Autumn?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Okay, Patrick?
Yes.
Okay, and then that passes. Thank you guys for your support. I will continue to
Do the
work
great job
diligently.
you're doing.
Well, thank you. It's a lot, but very worthwhile, and I appreciate the staff being so flexible. And I want to encourage you guys to always go down there and hang out with them. They're a lot of fun. Okay, so we need a vice chair. James is currently the vice chair. That's the fill-in case I'm sick or vacation or unavailable. Do we have a nomination?
I nominate Patrick.
Patrick, will you set that?
What's the job?
You just show up when Jeff doesn't.
Okay.
Vice chair?
I'll need some training, but
I'll
yeah.
set the agenda.
I
Madison will help you.
accept that nomination.
Okay, so
I second.
we have a motion and a second. So Carol?
Yes?
Yes. Autumn?
Yes.
James?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Patrick?
Oh, I can?
No, you actually
No,
can't
you
vote.
can't.
You can't vote for yourself.
I just had it on my list.
I wouldn't
Okay.
personally vote for myself. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well,
Humility.
thank you for your service. For the new commissioners, Patrick is also, part of his responsibilities is to look over all of the contracts.
Yeah.
Bring those, make
Yeah,
sure that they're vetted with attorneys, blah, 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 make sure they're correct, and then he can bring those to us. We can review them, and then he signs them. He's our legal signature for contracts.
Okay.
Along with Madison. We did that so that we had more transparency, and we also had two eyes looking at every contract. So,
Happy to do it.
okay, so secretary is currently Carol.
I'd renominate Carol.
Okay, Carol.
I'll second that.
We have a second. So, Carol, you can't vote. Autumn,
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
and Patrick.
Yes.
Yes, that's 4, and just because I can vote, I will vote to make 5. So it's unanimous. Okay, that takes care of that. Commissioner comments? Start with Carol.
I'm really looking forward to seeing how our December numbers are. I hope we're still on track for 2 million. It looks like we are, which would be truly magnificent. I'm looking forward to the Paradise presentations, and just wanted to remind everybody that they're still working for us on last year's contracts. So when they present to us, it will be for picking up where this year's left off. And again, to the staff, thank you guys so much for your hard work, especially during the difficult weather.
Very nice.
Okay, Autumn.
I just want to thank everybody for their presentations this evening. I know how much hard work that goes into
It is.
all of that, and that really helped fill me in a little bit on all my questions. But I do want to say that when I do ask questions, it's not always my question. It is something that I've been asked from other people that they're wanting to hear in a public forum. So, I don't mean to give trouble, but that's what I'm doing. So, I appreciate everybody. Thank you.
Yep, James.
No comment.
Happy to be here. Hate that I missed a few circumstances of running a business in this town and actually being busy, thanks to Paradise, thanks to the efforts of the commission. Last year was a banner year. I can't wait to also see those December numbers, because even for us, it was great. I mean, any month we make mortgage, I'm happy. But it's been above and beyond. We've seen 30% increase. I'd like to do it again. Let's do it again.
Yep. I don't have any comments. Nick?
It's good to be here officially on this spot in this seat again. And I'm so impressed by everyone in this room and what the work they've done and the way they've showed that. And thank you for sticking up for the LGBT community. But I guess that's where I leave off. I'm just glad to be here, and I hope we can all work together to make this town a more charming place.
Awesome.
Move to adjourn?
Okay, second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're going on.